And look, at the end, when the summer's coming to a close, until it's forced to put on the boots and the socks. Harder and heavier material.
There's other places underneath it.
I think, right. I think if we just put on like tights or something like that, we can really
They
live.
will.
Yeah.
Because you have to see some sunshine.
I'm
Right in there.
because it's like we need to be sunshine.
Yes, in every space.
start with some of the things that don't require approval and will then move from there. So we'll skip roll call until we get a quorum, and we'll skip the approval of the meeting minutes. Let's start with number 4, with the executive director.
I have all good news. Good to start with me. So first, I hope that you saw in the report that was distributed, congratulations to our very own Victor Polanco, who is a C-suite finalist in the category of Chief Financial Officer. So we are very proud of him. We'll be celebrating him at that event. You will also see in the report several upcoming events, and this is on page 46. The premiere of Dr. Owen's documentary by CET, and that is open to the public. You can use those links to register for that event, and it also will be broadcast the next week on CET. You'll also see traditionally the events that we go to, from the NAACP Freedom Fund Dinner, the 4 C's, Champions Gala, and the African American Chamber's Anniversary Gala. As you know, with our budget reductions, we will not have funds to invest in marketing for these events, where we usually have an ad or a table, but we have talked to most of the organizations, and if you as board members decide to go, and you would like to collectively put our ticket purchasing power together, that is a way we need to be able to leverage the advertising dollars. So we will send out to you when we're about to purchase tickets, but please know, as partners, we'll probably be purchasing 2 tickets to the event, because we do want to be present, but we won't be investing in advertising that would look like a whole table in exchange for that as well. So just to give you all a heads up about that. Also, the evaluation draft will be coming to you by close of business tomorrow in preparation for the board briefing. That will be September 1st. Please know that if you're not available to attend that virtual briefing, you can also send in questions, comments, and concerns as well as we prepare for the final release, which will happen at the annual meeting on September 29th. And now I'm going to turn it over to Flo. Are you ready, Flo? Who's going to share our enrollment update for this year?
Hi, everyone.
Flo, could you grab the microphone from the table so that we get it for the recording?
We should have, we're going to pop it up, what she's talking about. You all received it in the supplemental materials and on board, so we're going to have a slide that's going to show it to you as well.
So I just want to give you guys a snapshot of where we are at this current time. Currently, right now, as of today, give or take, we have 413 students approved. So yay! Great number. Let's see, so far we've had denied here only a total of 61 students. 24 of those students, their address were not in district. 16 of those students, they were over the FPL rate, and then 15% of those students were too old, and 6 of those students were too young. So that's where we're standing. We totally have 186 students or applications pending still. So we are right on our way, right on time. Any questions about any of that?
Questions for Flo?
Just yay.
Just yay. Thank you.
Yay.
Oh,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
do have a question.
The number of students that were out of, I guess, district, or what did you say, out of?
Addresses out of district.
How many were those?
24.
24.
Mhm. And the other thing too, just everybody keep in mind, we're still very early in the year, so I have no doubt in my mind that we will hit our target goal. If not, go a little beyond that during the current market where we're at.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you, Flo.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
So just be reminded, if we are getting close to our target cap, to remind everybody, which is around 824 students, if we reach that cap early on in the year, like by early, I mean, we'll have board meetings, I may have to come back to you all to ask for a budget adjustment and see how we may work to make sure that we can continue to prioritize that. What I don't want to have occur is we have 100 children on waiting lists with 150. We know that that eventually will happen, but if there's anything that we can do to mitigate that in the early years, we will come back to you, let you know the updates in the number. So though we've never done that before, just be mindful. If you all get a flash email from me that says, need to meet, need to talk, this is where we are, it would be related to that. Because we are keeping a close eye on not only what the enrollment numbers are, but I have to applaud the team who's collectively seeing where those numbers are, right? And how we're supporting providers and making sure they can meet the capacity and enrollment of all the seats that are available and making sure that it's that, as well as welcoming a new cohort of some providers that joined tuition assistance from last year to this year to really help them get a good start and get on board. So it looks a little different for us. That may require, we're going to give you a heads up when something occurs, that we may require board action. And then my last thing is that if you, I hope you all have seen in the news, proposed rule changes and challenges to Head Start. We will be joining with organizations across the state, like the Ohio Head Start Association, asking Ohio's congressional delegation to take a close look at what those proposed rules are, understand the impact, and actually come to our communities and visit our Head Start locations so you can actually see what it does. Julie Stone, who's the executive director of the Ohio Head Start Association, has drafted a letter that will be released by the end of the week, asking the Ohio congressional delegation to do that. And she also issued an op-ed in the Columbus Dispatch earlier in the week. I will make sure to send the link to all of you and the letter once it is released to all the signing agencies that include all the members of the Gay Radio Alliance as well. We did not include it in the because that letter is embargoed until it is released.
Any questions for Shara? Come on.
Yeah, so with the Head Start stuff, just what you're seeing, is there any like big concern you see or anything you see that's like, all right, this might actually be a good thing?
I'm trying to get to the good thing, I'm not there yet. But I think my concern is people associate deregulation with reduced cost and additional access, and I have concerns because we know that hasn't proved out, right? That's not what deregulation results in, a reduction of quality and changes of ratio size. We know ratio size pushes the outcome. But I think what we're not talking about, what comes from this, is that deregulation, in my mind, is a precursor to reduced funding. Because if you have reduced regulation, you reduce qualifications, and what you said is, we're trying to make this cheaper for us and funds get cut. And so when I foresaw to see what that path is, I think it is very challenging, and also to recognize that Head Start has never been just an educational seat. It has been whole child, whole family, whole community that gives the child a solid foundation and start that we know that we need. When you start pulling pieces of that away, then it is no longer the holistic education that we know every child needs as part of that early childhood development. So I'm trying to see the good, and I think the most positive thing is it has raised an international dialogue that gives us the opportunity to talk about the evidence-based outcomes and the science of this, to talk about the true cost of what it is, because though you may be horrified, it costs about 30% more than you're actually allocating for it, and so we need to raise that banner again, and an opportunity to highlight in our community how successful Head Start has been. So I don't know that people are aware that Southwest Ohio has a very unique Head Start model, and that we still partner with community providers and others to offer Head Start services, not just public schools, because we recognize the value of a mixed delivery education system. We have a progressive Head Start leader in Renee Daniel, who has been doing this for almost 30 years, that has created that ecosystem along with the partners here that really is. So we would hope not only that the Ohio congressional delegation will come visit, but that any and every member of Congress will come see what we've built together. So that's the bright side I see to it. We know we're doing the work, and we know it works, so go check it out. Right? You may want to double down.
Any other questions for Shara on the executive director's report? All right, we now do have a quorum, so we'll officially call the meeting to order and call a roll. You got that much to do?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you. Christopher Bennett. Pam Bowers.
Present.
Glenn Calhoun.
Present.
Earlene. Who's that one? Terry.
Present.
And I'm here. Tony Hobson. Margaret.
Here.
Vicki. Carolyn.
Here.
Micah.
I'm here. some business. We have to approve minutes from the June 30 meeting. Are there any suggested changes to those minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Terry, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Carolyn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the minutes are approved. Next on our agenda is the Finance and Audit Committee report, which I think Hector is going to be presenting for us.
Yes. Good afternoon. So there are 3 sheets in your packet related to finance and audit. This one provides the fiscal year-end results. If you remember, a few months back, we provided a forecast about where we expected to change the year, end of the year. This is relatively close to that forecast. It's still an underspend, as we have had in many prior years. The key aspect of this is we do this report because the one that the auditors do not compare versus the budget. So we want to give you the results versus what you approved, right? You could wait till the auditor reports come out and you have financial statements, but you wouldn't have a reconciliation versus the budget. And those are the key changes from budget fiscal year 26, the bullet items there from 1 through 8. We go through each line and try to provide you the key changes for each line. So here, we're saying we underspent by roughly $550,000, and those are the different buckets that led to the underspend. The one that overspent was tuition assistance, which is the one that I'm happy that we overspent and that we have funds to educate more kids. Any questions about this sheet before I move on to the next sheet? Okay. The next sheet is so lovely. This is where we track all of the students we have supported all the way from fiscal year 19 to the current fiscal year. And as you will see, the last 3 fiscal years, which are the top 3 lines, have beaten all the other fiscal years before. So we've really had a significant improvement going from fiscal year 24, which is the 23-24 school year, to the 24-25 and 25-26. Some of the school years, you will see that summer months have data, and those are the COVID years where we have these summer enrichment opportunities for students in continuing education really throughout the summer for them to try and catch up. Any questions about this chart before I move on? The final one is the underspend calculation. This sheet has basically become a requirement for us to provide to the district every year, because this is how we return the underspent funds to the district. The auditor of the state of Ohio, early on when we were created, said that they suggested we return the funds every year of the underspend to the district. And if you remember, many years ago, we had significant underspend. Now it's much smaller. Through this calculation, we end up with that number that has an arrow to it, the 595, 959 number, which the district subtracts from the first payment they made to us. By that subtraction, we are returning the funds to the district. This is much simpler than us writing a check to them, then writing a check to us, making sure that we're not out of cash during the transit of those 2 checks. So this is why we do it this way. But this has been going on year after year after year. Eventually, this sheet gets fed into the treasurer's report at the district. And that is how our funds are appropriated. So it's not only visible to us, but visible to everyone who goes to the district and watches district programming or their minutes and what have you. Any questions about this sheet?
One question I have for you, Hector, and this came up, I think, when we were reviewing the budget together earlier this year. Given that we've recently renewed for 10 years, I know we hold a reserve to ensure that as we get closely approach the end of any type of renewal cycle, that we can at least continue to sustain funding to the end of that particular semester or end of that particular school year.
That's correct.
One of the thoughts we discussed was, given that we are going to be starting year one of a 10-year renewal cycle, does it make sense for the district and CPP to somewhat split the interest of the reserve? Just as a little bit of a inflation protection in the budgets to ensure that we're making the most of the dollars as we grow.
Yeah, I believe that, I remember when you mentioned that, and Michael Augustin, the treasurer, said that we would approach that after approval of these budgets, which I think they now have. So we will be able to approach that over the next few months. Thank you.
Good question. Good question.
And it may be much easier for us to do it through a traditional nonprofit status with an investment committee rather than a public entity trying to uncover and invest public funds. So we'll have to consider that, and that's, I think, one of the good opportunities that I think will come out of our strategic planning to look at revenue generations and cost savings and efficiencies that I think is working.
If we did not budget for this, this additional $595,000, is that then an opportunity? I see how it's going back to the district, but is that an opportunity for this year for kids who come in above our enrollment target? We can't spend that.
How do I explain this? This is a cash conversation of where the money is moving. So
Okay.
it's already built into the budget where we're going to spend. It's not like this is extra money.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, okay.
built into the-
So it was built into the district.
Correct.
Got
But we
excited
don't-
there. I
We don't use it by underspending, though. We do protect the ability to use that capital. We just already planned for this.
It's already been planned. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I don't, what I'll say is you all know the strategy that we made is that we would intentionally underspend for several years to reserve so that we didn't have a sharp drop off and we had some flexibility exactly for this. So it was a planned underspend at a certain point to make sure that we could prioritize what we needed. We had a little cushion. And, you know, I don't want to look at it as a contingency, but I think we have to be creative and say, if we find that we need to come back to resources, what can we do about that? Because the money is there. It's how we use it and request it with the budget approval process. It is a messy thing that we've never done before, but we may find that the need is there.
Hector, anything else from your report?
No?
Any other questions for Hector? All right. Thank you, Hector. Next is our discussion on contract renewals. I will turn that over to Sean.
This is pretty straightforward. You'll see on page 7 of your package is the renewal for 4C for children. We talked about the shifts that we anticipated in coaching models. You will see that summary in the renewal sheet on page 7. We see the accomplishments from fiscal year 25 of the 28 programs that were coached, and we're pleased to say because of the partnership with 4C, 91% of those providers are now rated and did see some advancements to silver and gold level as well. The new contract amount is for a total of $73,200, and that will be also for a new coaching model that includes group coaching more so than the limited individual coaching. So the staff and team is recommending renewal, so my request to the board is to approve the 4C for children coaching contract renewal for the amount of a maximum of $73,200.
Any questions for Shar on this?
One question, with the new coaching models being more group than individual, do we anticipate any slippage in terms of the great work they were able to do in terms of helping get 80-90% plus credit? Go ahead.
I think that we will see, but in attrition of our providers, some slipping in quality rating, I don't know if that is attributable to coaching. The challenge that we are seeing is many providers are making the decision, not because they can't achieve and move on their quality rating to discontinue services, but because the publicly funded childcare reimbursement amount is too low, and because staffing continues to be a challenge. We also see the lowest number we've ever had of providers that want to have ongoing coaching in that QI cohort. So similarly to the way, the lowest number we've ever seen of providers that are interested in the QI cohort and coaching, and also the lowest number of providers we've ever seen in our provider network overall. As you recall, you remember, I promised you all we were going to have between a 33 and 35% attrition in our provider network. In some ways, when we look at it, we've done our job in that we invested in helping providers meet that high quality mark, understand the path to do that. Now it's our opportunity to turn it over to Cincy for Children as the CCR&R to continue that work and us to support while we're able. Because what we are seeing is shifts in our provider network where we are just trying to get people to maintain. Just to maintain and keep the doors open. And to be honest, we have not gone through a week since July where we haven't been notified that our providers are closed. So the model just looks different for us, and I think it's part of our strategic planning process over the year to look at where we add the most value, where there is opportunity for us, and where we are responsive to what the requests are for support from providers. And to be very honest with you, providers need fixes fixed. They need to understand how to buy QuickBooks, not how to use QuickBooks, right? So we're just in a different environment for now where we have to focus to make sure that, as preschool promised, we have enough seats to meet the children that we can enroll for. And while we may love to contribute to the overall ecosystem, we no longer have the luxury of being able to afford that. So a very hard question that we had to ask ourselves is, what does our investment need to be to keep 825 seats open? Because that's the reality of where we are.
Any other questions for Shara or discussion on this contract with the staff recommendation of renewal? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the renewal? Pamela, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Terry, opposed? All right, contract is approved. Chris was second. We have a abstention from Terry. All right, next is the learning growth contract.
Similar methodology, similar story. You'll see on page 19, the outcomes from Learning Growth Coach, where 9 programs serve. 100% of providers are now rated. We've done some reductions in effort in tracking quarterly reporting forms and transition to group coaching again with limited individual site as well. I am requesting the board to approve the renewal of this contract, it's right here, right, for a total of $75,000. And that is outlined in the new scope of work listed here. And the summary again, that's on page 19.
Any questions or discussion? Is there a motion to approve? Carol, is there a second?
Second.
Christie, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstention, Margaret. The contract's approved. Next, moving to the Linton Chamber musical journeys.
So again, I'm asking you all to approve a combined 2 scopes of work. One for something that's already happened. It's our Peanut Butter and Jam Back to School Musical Journeys. You saw some pictures in the executive director's report. Thanks to every member of the team for their hard work in that. We had probably our largest turnout ever. This year we had a storyteller, which was new, a drum corps, face painter, Queen City Book Bank distributed books as well. It was a good time. And we will continue to also have musical journeys in classrooms to remind everybody the way that looks is that we have individual 1 hour of musical instruction weekly at 10 provider sites through our network. We are currently selecting those provider sites, tuition assistance providers that are the best fit. Also, thanks to the work that was initiated through our pitch night, where we selected PB&J, they have also been able to leverage resources from others, including Children's Hospital, to add 7 new programs as well that they're now able to offer musical journeys in the classroom as well. So we're asking for renewal of the Linton Chamber Music contract, and that is on page 36 for an amount of $79,776. I will note that this is the only contract this year that we did offer an increase to, and we did do a 2% increase because their costs have raised in terms of what they pay their staffing, equipment, and material. You will also see that we built in a $1,000 contingency because we don't know with new sites how we may need to buy new musical instrument sets for those. In previous years, we haven't spent that if we haven't needed it. We just try to leave it in the contract to make sure if it is available, because we want children to use the instruments and take them, so they always don't have a new set. So there is money in there for that as well.
Any questions or discussion on this one?
First of all, my son is a music educator, and my daughter-in-law does music therapy with children. So I absolutely believe in the power of music. Why this contract? Why did you choose music? Now, the marketing piece, to me, is like gold.
Pitch night. We came together, we had people propose what we thought they were going to be able to do best. The pitch night, as you know, was a combination of a board of experts that we kind of brought together that included parents and providers and others to rank what we thought. We presented to you as a board to look as well. We presented it to the public on Facebook Live, and they got to vote to do that. And we did a cost effectiveness to see what would be most cost effective. After the first year and the second year, when we did that as a pilot, what we found was remarkable impact. And I don't know if you all remember the poster series that Children's Hospital did to see the improvements that it made in children's learning and the advancement from the beginning to the end. So the success of us let us continue. Also, when we implemented this, it was the only system-wide event that we would have with our back-to-school jam that brought together providers, communities, and educators in the same place. Now, we are reconsidering that because our new signature event may be our book fair, because it's costly to do that at Westfield Town Center. But it was the best model and the best partners for us to leverage in the community a program that we thought augmented someone's game on readiness and learning opportunities that also made the connection to the community. What's unique about this program is we have many classrooms where there is no additional support. There is nobody else that comes in. The providers told us and the educators told us they enjoy having Miss Elizabeth come to support their classroom for an hour. It worked for us, we continue. But I would have loved to have been able to also continue American Legacy Theater. We thought that worked as well. It was cost prohibitive for us to do that at scale, and it wasn't as applicable to a family child care center and a family child care site and a center. Using our equity principle, we had to make sure that we could build with a partner who could do both, produce results, and leverage other resources in the community. PB&J is that.
Thank you. I didn't need to be convinced it was great, but I didn't figure out why we chose this over the others. The one thing I would say is I love it that I love everything about this program, right? And I love it that they are able to go out to some classrooms. But maybe we start thinking about is, since people come for them in their concert, is there a way for them to educate that group of people and teachers in how to do music for it?
So we did have built into the contract 2 years in a row, an Oak Grove approved continuing education opportunity and professional development. We did have, I think, maybe 3 providers in our network that signed up for that because what they really wanted was the support and the partnership with another educator in space. So we still stand prepared to do that. We did have Elizabeth become OPRA certified so that she is able to do that, and we can offer that professional development session, but it was still a situation that they like the team, the group, the expert, because even if you can do it and implement it, you can't show up with a puppeteer, right? Then all those extra pieces that really made it valuable to the educators.
You're thinking way ahead of me as usual.
Are there any other questions or discussion on this one? Is there a motion to approve? Glenn, is there a second?
Second.
And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? None. Contract is approved. All right, for Those of you who came in midway through our journey, we went a little out of order, so we've already done the executive director's report, which means the only thing that's left is our executive session. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, so I'll explain the process that we have to follow to do this. Someone will have to move and second for us to go into executive discussion to discuss a personnel matter, and that will be the executive director's evaluation. At that point, we have to have a roll call vote, which we will do. Assuming that vote carries, we will then go into executive session where we'll ask everyone who's not a board member to leave. We will limit our discussion exclusively to the agenda item, the executive director's evaluation. We will then, when we finish that, take a motion to leave executive session, which will also have to be a roll call vote. And then when we do that, we'll open the door, we'll announce to everyone we're coming back together. Any of you all are welcome to stay, but after that, the big grand thing we announce that we're coming back in is to take a motion to adjourn and then to adjourn. So you likely have things you'd rather be doing on your Tuesday afternoon than that, but you are certainly welcome to wait if you'd like, and we will let you all know when we come back. Any just questions on that, like the procedure, before we go ahead and do that? All right. Is there a motion to recess into executive session to discuss a personnel matter, the executive director's evaluation? Glenn, is there a second?
Second.
Second. We'll go with Margaret. We need to take a roll call vote. Marcia, can you please call the vote? Just the people that are here.
Chris?
Here?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Pam?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Marcia, yes. Margaret?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Micah?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right. The motion is approved unanimously. We'll be moving into executive session. We're going to be cutting the camera roll and ask that